African markets are a world unto themselves, vibrant, chaotic, and alive with energy. They're a place where the hustle never stops, and there's always something happening. If you've ever been to an African market, you know that it's not just about buying and selling goods. It's about culture, community, and the unique way people communicate. Whether you're in Lagos, Nairobi, or Accra, there are certain things you will hear in every African market. And let me tell you, they are like no other place in the world. From the constant chatter to the iconic bargaining moments, African markets have their own rhythm, their own language, and their own set of rules. So today, let's explore some of the most hilarious, memorable, and sometimes strange things you only hear in African markets. The bargaining battle. The first thing you'll hear when you walk into any African market is the art of bargaining. In African culture, negotiating over price is as essential as the products themselves. Vendors aren't just selling, they're having a conversation with you. And trust me, that conversation is always going to include a price adjustment. You'll hear things like, "My sister, you know the price. It's too much for you." This is a classic line. The vendor is trying to make you feel like you're getting the best deal, even though you're probably still paying way more than the locals. "You'll take it for this price today only." Every single time you'll hear this. It's a special deal that is clearly only valid for that one moment. It's your own price. Just tell me how much you want to pay. Ah, yes, the moment of power. This is when the vendor offers you the ability to name your price, knowing fully well you'll still end up paying what they want. "I'll give you the same price I gave your friend yesterday." This one is a classic attempt to show fairness, but you know they're just playing with you. But remember, the process is part of the fun. If you're lucky enough, you might even end up with a complimentary extra item just to seal the deal. 2. The shouting across the market. In African markets, shouting is an art form. The market is so bustling, and the stalls are often so packed that vendors shout to attract attention or to communicate with each other from across the market. "Oh yeah, who's looking for fresh tomatoes? Come and get your tomatoes." You'll hear vendors calling out in the most enthusiastic and dramatic fashion, shouting the goods they're selling like it's a public announcement. "Mummy, come and buy your fresh fish-o." There's always someone shouting to remind you that their product is fresher, better, or somehow more desirable than anyone else's. "Ah, madam, I've got your size in stock. Come and see." Tailors and cloth vendors are notorious for this, shouting to you from a distance, trying to get you to stop and take a look at what they've got, often with a promise of just the right size, even if you didn't ask. "Oh yeah, big fish, come and get it." This phrase is repeated so often that it becomes part of the market soundtrack. The enthusiasm is real, and you might just find yourself buying fish because of it. The volume and the rapid pace at which people shout is enough to make anyone feel like they're in the middle of a competition. It's part of the excitement. The no money, no problem crowd. In African markets, there's always someone who's willing to negotiate on your behalf or make it clear that they don't have the money to buy, but are definitely looking. "How much you get? If you don't have money, it's fine. I'll give you a discount." The barter system still exists in many markets, and this phrase is thrown around often. The seller is offering an option for you to pay less or trade an item just to get you to make the purchase. "I don't have money today, but tomorrow I will come back." This is the classic, "I'll buy it next time" excuse. You'll hear it constantly. Even if someone is standing in front of a vendor with cash in hand, they'll use this line to avoid a purchase today. "I'm not ready to buy now, but I'll come back and you'll see me with money." Of course, whether or not that person will ever return is another story, but this phrase is a staple. The complaints and arguments. When you're in an African market, expect to hear complaints and arguments. They could be between vendors or between customers and vendors, but they are always loud and passionate. "You cannot be serious. You're going to charge me this much for something that isn't even fresh." The heated back and forth between a customer and a vendor can escalate quickly. The customer will not accept subpar quality, and the vendor will insist that their goods are top tier. "Why are you selling this thing so expensive? This is the same thing I saw down the street for half the price." Price comparisons are very common in African markets, and vendors often have to justify their prices, even if they don't actually believe their product is worth it. "If you don't want to buy, just move, don't waste my time." Frustrated vendors who deal with a steady stream of indecisive customers will shout this to push people along and keep the market moving. "I beg, I don't have time for this nonsense. I'm leaving." When the argument reaches its boiling point, someone will inevitably decide to walk away in a huff, only to come back later to try again. The repetition of praise. A unique part of African markets is how often compliments or praise singing get thrown into the conversation. Vendors will praise you as if your mere presence is an honor to them. "Ah, you have come back today again. I knew you were coming." This type of greeting makes you feel like royalty, as if the vendor has been waiting all day for your arrival. "Oh, see how fresh and beautiful you look today. You must be rich." The praise is often linked to how you look, even if it's just an ordinary day. They'll flatter you relentlessly, as if buttering you up to make a sale. "Look at you, looking as if you just stepped out of the magazine. Come and buy my goods." No matter what you're wearing, you will hear something along these lines, trying to make you feel special and important. Tactics. The family drama. African markets are often full of family drama. Siblings arguing, mothers and children negotiating, and sometimes even generations trying to communicate about how to do business. Here's what you might overhear. You're selling at a loss. How many times do I have to tell you?" Mothers in African markets often give stern advice to their children, especially when they're running their own stalls. "Don't let me call your father. This nonsense must stop." Family dynamics play out in public spaces too, especially when there's a disagreement about business. "I'm not asking you again. I said pack it well." Vendors scolding their children, nieces or nephews for not doing things to their liking is a common occurrence. There you have it, some of the most iconic phrases you'll hear in an African market. Whether it's the energy of the bargaining, the shouting across the market, the family drama, or the praise you'll receive just for walking by, African markets are a place like no other. They're full of life, chaos, and culture, and the things you hear are just as much a part of the experience as the goods being sold. If you've ever been to an African market and heard any of these phrases, or maybe even a few others, drop a comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more content. Until next time, enjoy your market experience. Just be prepared to negotiate.